So this really has to be seen to be believed. Fox host Lou Dobbs has been one of the major nodes of spreading bogus election fraud claims since November 3rd. He's done everything from interview that wacky lawyer Sidney Powell to interviewing supposed witnesses of voter fraud who signed affidavits. He's been full on with this thing, repeating and allowing the promotion of completely baseless claims about companies like Dominion Voting and Smartmatic and others. He's really been full on with this thing. And then suddenly, a couple of days ago, Lou Dobbs aired a fact check that debunked his own election conspiracy theories. What on earth is going on? And what's going on is fascinating. It turns out that Smartmatic, which is one of the companies that makes voting machines about which Lou Dobbs has been spreading disinformation, Smartmatic wrote a legal demand letter to Fox News, Newsmax, and OAN, threatening legal action if they don't retract their completely bogus claims about Smartmatic. And the letter actually quotes Lou Dobbs. It quotes Fox host Maria Bartiromo and others who simply will not stop making insane claims about voter fraud. And it looks like Fox lawyers decided that the letters had some teeth because Lou Dobbs ended up airing the following segment, which, please understand this key part. This segment debunks the lies Lou himself was telling over the last 5 weeks. And Lou just looks absolutely miserable introducing this segment. And what's fascinating is that this is clearly a pre-produced segment meant specifically to get Fox News out of legal hot water. The questions are asked in voiceover. They're all very carefully worded. It's stunning to watch this. Take a look.
Lots of opinions about the integrity of the election, the irregularities of mail-in voting, of election voting machines and voting software. One of the companies is Smartmatic, and we reached out to one of the leading authorities on open source software for elections, Eddie Perez, for his insight and views. Eddie is the global director of tech development at the Open Source Election Technology Institute. We asked him for his assessment of Smartmatic and recent claims about the company.
Have you seen any evidence that Smartmatic software was used to flip votes anywhere in the U.S. in this election?
I have not seen any evidence that Smartmatic software was used to delete, change, alter anything related to vote tabulation.
Smartmatic says its software was never used outside of L.A. County in 2020. Do you know whether or not that's true?
That is my understanding. Smartmatic functioned as the contract manufacturer for the Los Angeles County voting system, and that was a customized system that was effectively built to the county's order. I am not aware of them having any other direct customers, relationships with election officials in the United States.
What about Smartmatic and Dominion? Do you know if they're related, whether one owns the other, whether Dominion uses Smartmatic software?
Both Dominion and Smartmatic have individually and respectively put out very clear statements from their corporate headquarters, each of them indicating they are independent companies. They are not related to each other. It is my understanding that neither one of them has an ownership stake in the other or anything like that.
So that directly debunks the things that Lou Dobbs and his guests have been claiming, including, as an example, that there's some kind of nefarious link between Smartmatic and Dominion voting systems. And then at the end of this segment, they just cut directly to commercial. No explanation, no commentary from Lou Dobbs. Totally abrupt. Take a look. And this is right after debunking another one of Lou Dobbs' previous claims.
This is in which Smartmatic's technology was banned in the U.S. in 2020 due to security weaknesses or wrongdoing.
I'm not aware of any instances where Smartmatic's technology was banned in the U.S. Again, it is my understanding that outside of one customer in Los Angeles County, Smartmatic has no presence in the voting technology marketplace in the United States.
Heading into retirement.
Right to commercial with no word from Lou Dobbs there about how he has been making the opposite claims from that piece for about a month and a half now since the election. So it seems very clear that this was an attempt by Fox News just to rectify the legal problem they created for themselves by airing this stuff for week after week after week. Now, it's interesting. It's not clear to me that this is a huge win. You and I see this and we immediately understand. They've been making false claims for what, 5, 6, 7, almost 7 weeks at this point, 6 weeks at this point. The claims have been completely baseless. And once it passed a certain threshold, the companies about which the false claims were being made got lawyers, they sent legal letters, and Fox recognizes that they've got to issue some kind of legal, they've got to do something here to get themselves out of legal hot water. That's what you and I see when we see this. Unfortunately, a lot of Fox News viewers won't understand, or even if they do understand, they are not going to believe or give that segment credibility. They give what Lou Dobbs has been doing the last 6 weeks credibility, but not that segment. The saying is something like, everybody sees the headline and nobody sees the correction. 1 week later on the back page of the paper. That's basically what this is. Lou Dobbs aired lies that he likely knew were lies for the last 6 weeks. They got a legal demand letter from Smartmatic. We know that's true. And we are inferring that that's why that segment was aired, again, without any commentary from Lou Dobbs or him saying, I've been one of the people telling you the lies for the last however many weeks. Maybe that is enough for Fox News to get out of legal trouble. But the viewers aren't going to be convinced by it. The viewers are going to say, what Lou Dobbs has been saying for 6 weeks is true. I don't even know what that segment's about. I tuned out. Once it cut away from Lou, I thought it was a commercial. I walked away and grabbed a drink in the kitchen. I don't know if you guys remember, but back in 2005, Dan Rather on CBS News aired some improperly sourced documents about George W. Bush's National Guard service. And it turns out that the documents they used were not accurate. And 4 CBS executives were fired for that. And Dan Rather resigned over that mistake. Fox News, OAN, Newsmax won't stop repeating the same baseless lies about the election. And the penalty is that Lou Dobbs aired a 2-minute pre-produced fact check without even acknowledging that he was one of the nodes of spreading the disinformation that very segment was debunking. Even in the last 10 years, the downfall of seriousness in media has been absolutely stunning. And is it better that Lou Dobbs aired it than not airing it? All else being equal, given the fact that he's been spreading the lies, is it better that he aired it? Yeah, sure. The reason he aired it, though, is not to provide an alternative point of view, one that's fact-based. It's because they got a legal demand letter, and it's absolutely pathetic.